So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking your time out on a Sunday. We have an interesting topic to discuss, something which is very close to my heart, and something that I've been thinking about since the lockdown happened, and something which has been troubling me personally as well. So, it's more of a personal touch, and I thought other people would also relate to it, something that we are all going through, and hence the topic emotional balance in turbulence time. And I have one of our, I would say, my good friend for a long time, and Sonia. I'll introduce her a little later. Just for benefit of the other, a quick intro about ASQ. ASQ is over 75 years old organization based out of Milwaukee, USA. We are present in about 140 countries. It's an association, hence we are all member-led, and to talk about in quality field, all the likes of gurus of quality in terms of Phil Crosby, Deming, Duran, and they've all been part of ASQ itself. That's the legacy we have. In India, we have been here for about 2 decades, indirectly and directly about a decade. Our presence, we work with many of the corporate houses. We have certification, membership, training program, coaching, and several other things that we continue to support both individual customers as well as corporates in the field of quality and improvement. We also have conferences and seminars and webinars now. And I would say that if anybody has missed our previous webinars, please those visit our YouTube channel, ASQ South Asia. All you need to do, just put it on ASQ South Asia. You'll be able to see our past webinars as well. We had supply chain adapting to COVID-19 pandemic, so that's something which was very well received. And then we have improving in quality of quality professions also that we had a session, very interesting again, I would say thought-provoking session itself. I would like to also mention that this webinar is basically on last Sunday of every month, and the next month upcoming would be Greg Watson from US. He's a very well-known in the field of quality, and his contribution has been significant. He'll be talking about transformation efforts using technology and how quality is shaping up in global perspective. So that should be in the digital transformation, I mean to say. And that should be another topic. If you're interested, please feel free to reach out to us. We will send you across. Without further ado, let me also introduce our guest for today, Sonia. She was only 14 when Prime Minister awarded her the gold medal for outstanding communication skills in the international elocution competition. 34 years of servicing clients, 17 years as a lawyer. I'll be careful saying anything beyond the boundaries. And of course, her main strength is 17 years. She has been a coach and a facilitator. And she has won the prestigious award in excellence in leadership transformation through communication at India Economic and Law Summit. Sonia, a certified coach, facilitator, and trainer, partners individuals and organizations in helping them unleash their potential and build strong leadership culture. Today, with hundreds of successful clients globally, she is her own brand, Sonia the Coach. So if you do soniathecoach.com, you would be able to reach out to her easily. She has played the female lead in the German The Ring the Buddha, as well as acted in popular youth-based web series Baked, produced by her own son, Akash Mehta. She's got multiple talents in music, theater, have been part of her life in school, where she was selected for Oliver Twist and other musicals. While in school itself, she sang for All India Radio Shimla and later released 2 albums, wherein she wrote the lyrics, composed the music, and gave it a voice. She is writing a series of articles on Questiontake and on the etiquettes of asking questions, and quotation derived from her own life experience. Due to her love for Urdu, she prefers ghazals. Her quotes, articles, and music poetry in both in English and Hindi have been appreciated. Married for 34 years, and her school buddy Sanjay. She is a happy wife, a proud mother of a brilliant lawyer daughter, and son-in-law team with Swati and Aditi, and a gifted filmmaker son Akash. Sonia, pleasure to have you over, and while this topic is very dear to me, the important thing about this topic is to, how do we communicate? How do we, in our own life situation that we have, somewhere we have to address ourselves. It's about communication. If it's about external in terms of our people, friends, relatives, peers, again, it's all about communication. In such kind of difficult times, I think it's important how we communicate with each other. How do we communicate and introspect with each other? One on self, I would say, that's something that we would like to, probably get an idea and essence. And let's do more of a, open session. And I would say, Sonia, why don't you come in at this point of time, and what we could do is I'll start posting you some questions, and for the attendees, the chat box is open, and we can at any given point of time, please feel free to start asking your questions with which you feel related with, and I will pick it up with Sonia itself, and we'll see whether it addresses the line of whatever emotions, thoughts that's coming with you as well. So Sonia, over to you. I would like to set the context, and then I can start asking you certain questions.
Right, sure. Thank you, Anindya, for a very generous introduction. And before I begin, I want to just specify that are there some technology glitches, because I'm experiencing them. My video keeps going off, and I think we'll just have to go with that. I'll keep putting it on. Is everyone okay with that? Are you experiencing some glitches?
We are. I would say they won't be able to answer. The participants are all muted because we have over at this point of time.
On the chat.
Yes.
I just want to know that my video will go on and off, and it's too late now to fix it. I don't know. There's some issue. But you know why I'm actually smiling at these glitches is that the topic itself is maintaining emotional balance in turbulent times. So I think the turbulence
is happening here itself. Yes.
So I'm getting tested on the turbulence myself, and it's fine. I'll just keep on clicking it. Okay, right. So a very warm welcome to all of you. I am thrilled and excited to be here. Okay, Anindya, can you see me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead. Let's set the context. It's absolutely fine. Sonia, I would say that let's go ahead with it. Don't worry about the.
As long as you are able to see me. As long as you're able to see me. Okay. So very warm welcome to all of you. As Anindya mentioned, we go back a long way. I think we made a trip to the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration in Missouri in 2012. Right, Anindya?
Yes, you remember it well.
Yeah.
You remember it well.
I remember the day actually better than the year because it was Valentine's Day. And so we go back that long, and I'm sure somewhere in your archives you'll have a picture. I'll ask you to pull it up a little later. Oh wow, that's nice. Thank you. That's the picture. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and we have all the senior IAS officers here. Beautiful. Thanks for showing this.
Welcome.
So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking out the time on Sunday. I want to set the context that I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a brain scientist. I'm here in the capacity of a coach, a leadership coach. And what I'm here to share is really my own life experiences and those that I have experienced in my coaching journeys. We are not here to intellectualize emotions and where they come from and etc. Our purpose is very clear. When we walk out today, do we have a sort of an emotional toolkit where we can just pull out the right kind of tools to help us get through these turbulent times? I request you all to keep a pen and paper handy in case you feel like jotting down certain points. And feel free to put your comments and participate actively through the chat. So I'm ready to go. Thank you once again. And over to you, Anindya. I'm ready for your questions.
Great. So thank you so much, Sonia. It will be more of an interaction. So hence, let me start with emotion itself. So when do we start experiencing emotions, Sonia?
Let's do one thing. Let's invite all the participants with us. I want all of you to think of your childhood when you were a little baby. And what do babies do? Just cry, right? And you cried. And your mother came running to you and took you in her arms. What is the feeling that you would have experienced? And please put your feelings in the chat. What is that feeling you would have experienced when she just cuddled you up?
Warmth, secure.
Okay.
Yes, Celia talking about being feeling secure.
Yes, love. Right.
Loved.
Yes, exactly. Joyful.
Care.
Absolutely.
Care. Solace.
Right. So
Joy.
let's move on. Okay, great. Thank you. Let's move on. Now you grow up. Okay. Yeah. So then what happens is you grow up a little bit. You're blessed with another baby sister or baby brother, and you graze your knee a little bit, and you cry again. But this time your mother doesn't come around. And you go looking for her, and she's actually cuddling the little one and nursing the baby. So what is something that you would have experienced now?
Ignored. Jealousy.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. All of those, right?
These are, by the way, these are not my comments. These are all comments coming in the chat.
I can see them. Yeah, sadness. Yes.
That's
okay.
Exactly. So I felt neglected. Somebody wrote, I felt neglected. Left like beating the little one. Like beating the little one. Jealousy.
Yeah. So all these are coming up, right? And then it's your first day at school. The first kind of separation from your parents. And what happens then? You are in this strange place, strange looking people, never seen them before. And at that moment, you're looking around, your parents are nowhere. What would you feel? Just standing there.
Feel alone.
Afraid, yeah. You're scared, right? You're afraid. You're lost. You don't know.
Insecure.
Yeah. So you walk into your classroom. And you have your brand new color set. Color crayons or your pens, and you are busy coloring. And this naughty child comes and snatches away your brand new colors. What would you feel then?
Angry.
Angry, okay. Yeah.
Hate.
Yeah.
Angry, hate.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, wonderful. So we've got a couple of responses. My point here is that emotions are there in their rudimentary form right from the very onset, right? From the moment we are born, we are experiencing emotions. I always say this, that we are first children, and then we get adulterated. So we become adults and we get adulterated. So does that answer your question, Anindya?
It does, but it brings in couple of more thought process. So if I talk about that, living with the last example, if I pick that up, there is always a good side and a bad side of an emotion. We have what we express in terms of anger to joy. We talk about good and bad side. How does this impact our emotional landscape later in life?
Okay, I will just, yeah. Okay, yes. How does that, when I look at this, I realize that we grow up in a kind of a family, a culture, a society where we are conditioned from the beginning that these are good emotions and these are not good emotions. This is what you should be expressing, and this is what you should not be expressing. We invite emotional diversity in, say, the flora and fauna outside, right? I'm looking at this beautiful neem tree outside, and we love diversity there. But when it comes to emotions, we actually label them, right? We label them as good and bad. How does that play out? Take for instance genders. Okay, I'm right now I'm struggling with the technology. As long as you guys can see me, Anindya, can you see me continuously?
Not continuously, but yes, erratically, but it's okay. We can continue. I can hear you very loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. I think we'll just make do with this, another turbulence. So what happens is, I hear this phrase very often that boys don't cry. You know, boys are not supposed to cry. That's a sign of weakness. How come you're crying? And I just wonder why is crying associated with only girls and not with boys? It has very, very serious repercussions later on in life, right? Take for instance a child who has been ignored. Okay, we all either have been there or we know of a child who's been ignored. How do you think the child is going to react later in life? I would love to have some comments. So a child who is not allowed to cry, he's feeling a lot of things inside him. How is he going to react later in life? He's going to become a rebel.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback like crying is a weakness, depressed, lonely, aggressive versus submissive, feel trusted, and he can't express himself, embarrassed.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. True. Excellent. Thank you. So what really happens here is that we are told right from the beginning that these emotions are allowed, these are not allowed, these are encouraged, these are discouraged. And the child starts realizing that in order to be accepted or to fit in or to be loved, I have to express only these kind of emotions. So let's say, have you seen an iceberg? We all have seen an iceberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much percent of the iceberg is visible to the eye?
10%. Being a science student, I should be able to answer that, yeah.
So 10%. So what happens is we see a lot of anger in a person, right? We see that anger, this person is rebellious and aggressive and violent, but you know, under that, there is this whole jumble of emotions that have been lying unaddressed. The emotions could be those of grief, of sadness, of loneliness, of shame, of guilt, of inadequacy. All that is lying under the surface. Now the child knows one thing, that if I'm angry, it is more socially acceptable than telling them that, oh, I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling ashamed. So this is how it manifests, this is how it plays out later in life. Yeah.
And so what happens if one suppresses emotions?
Emotions, you know, the very word emotion comes from two words. It's a combination of two words. It's E plus motion, energy plus motion. So what do you get when you hear the term motion?
Mobility, moving around.
Exactly. So the energy is supposed to move. The minute we start blocking the energy, what happens is it houses itself in our body. We get dis plus ease. We get disease. So when we suppress our emotions, we are inviting the toxicity in our body, right?
Mm.
And it leads to disease.
Right, right. I can relate that itself. Specifically when we have a lot of tensions in our life, things, and the body also starts reacting that way.
Yeah, Anindya, and have you noticed that, I don't know, I'm not a heart specialist or doctor, but I've read some research where men are more prone to cardiovascular problems than women.
Correct.
And that is because men from the beginning have suppressed a lot of their emotions. They don't vent it like women do. And that has got a lot to do with the way we are conditioned right from our childhood.
So, in the current context, in the pandemic context, in your experience, are some people of the emotion that people are dealing with? What kind of emotion people are dealing with these days? What's your take? What's the kind of emotion?
There's, I've been talking to so many of my clients, coaches, friends, colleagues, relatives, and there's this whole wide gamut of emotions that people are dealing with. So let's say beginning with loneliness, there is anxiety, there is fear, there is stress, there is uncertainty, there is inadequacy, there is abandonment. So there's just so many of them. Each one is experiencing in different ways. Each one has a different experience of COVID, right? Some of us are handling it better, some of us cannot for various reasons. So all these are the kinds of emotions that one hears about these days.
And how are they impacting our lives?
So a lot of people I see and I talk to, they are losing interest in things. They're saying, what's the point? God knows how long this is going to last. Many of them are losing focus. They're not able to concentrate and focus on things. What else? They are, so a lot of them are having anxiety issues, depression. Some of them are oversleeping, some of them are not sleeping at all. Some of them are going on eating and some of them are starving themselves. There is increase in use of substance, drugs. There's increase in use of alcohol. Unfortunately, I also hear cases of increase in domestic violence. So this is these are primarily the kind of results of our the emotions that we are experiencing these days.
And one of our attendees has just commented saying hopeless is because they can't see the end. That creeps in terms of hopelessness. Tell me, how do we cope in such? Is there any coping mechanism you can suggest? How does people manage in such kind of situation?
What are the coping mechanisms? Okay, I have a request. I have this video is going on and off. Is there a possibility that I give my participants an activity and they can give me 1 minute? I think that will be a good thing because I need to do this activity later. Is that all right? Can I have a go ahead from the participants?
Yes, I'm receiving a couple of yeses. Yes, please.
Okay, lovely, lovely. So here is the thing. What I want you to do is, I want you to think of one of the most traumatic experiences in your life. And I want you to think, where is it showing up in your body? And actually deep dive into one of the most traumatizing experiences and tell me specifically where are you feeling the sensations in your body, right? And the second thing I want you to do is, I want you to think of the happiest moment and now tell me what are the sensations you are feeling. So I'm going to just go, give me exactly like a minute and a half and I'll be back. In the meanwhile, I request all the panelists, all the participants, please do this for me. Thank you. Thank you.
So put it up on the chat box. Put it in the chat box in terms of whatever you want to express. And I will be picking up those moments when it gets in itself. So we'll pause for a moment to take your chats in. So please chat in. Yeah.
Sure, my audio is on, Anindya.
Yes, please. So somebody wrote that I lost weight by 10 kilos, irregular sleep, bad experience, chest pain, asthma, suffocation.
Oh.
Traumatic experience.
Oh.
The happiest moment, somebody is winning my team in cricket. Somebody saying changing my looks. Can't stop smiling. I also somebody became diabetic. Yes, these are all manifestation of all the situation. Concentrate on anything, so somebody is unable to concentrate. Somebody has become a deep thinker.
Wow, interesting.
And somebody had ulcer, development of ulcer, and all those things. So I would say I can also relate with it that when I was living in Bombay, there was a certain sort of it was 2008, and there was this meltdown happening, and I went through a lot of stress, and I could feel it in my own body reacting with, all of a sudden I never used to have acidic reaction or something like that. Somehow I felt that phase when I was going through it, I could, that's something that manifested at that point of time. So I can relate with that. So yes, I'm putting whole host of things to keep up with. I'm sorry somebody's father also expired, so happy moments could be converted into looking for more of such opportunities to repeat. Yes, good experience. There is this energy flow which is like conquered the world and queen of this universe. I also felt like releasing stress of friends just by talking and feeling emotions. Happiest moments when in life when I know my father loves and my wife. These are all very valid points that's coming up. Parents.
Okay, wonderful.
And so tell me something, Sonia. So before we get into some of the tools to mitigate.
Right. So I think whatever the technology issue is, I'm just going to let it stay there. As long as I'm audible, I think
yeah, that's
we can
good
treat
enough.
it like we can treat it like a radio show.
It's absolutely fine, Sonia. Let's go ahead with it. I think.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Important part. Yes. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. So, what was your question? Anindya?
I want to connect with the mind and body. This is the emotions of good, bad, and stressful emotions and happy emotions. How does the body connection when you are dealing with emotions? So that's something that. What is the body connection, mind-body connection? Big apart, please. When you're dealing with such emotions.
Right. So I think you first asked me about coping mechanisms, right? What are some of the?
And then of course that followed up with the mind and body connection itself.
Right. So right. Let's talk about coping mechanisms. So the year was 2018, and it was a very cold morning in October. I was in Germany, and I was frozen. I was not frozen because of the cold that was outside. I was frozen with the sights that I saw. I was standing inside a concentration camp. It was outside of Berlin. I made that trip, and the sights that I saw, the pictures, really made me freeze. And I was taken back to my study of this gentleman called Viktor Frankl. He was an Austrian psychologist, and he was a Holocaust survivor in Auschwitz. And I was reminded of his very famous quotation when he was being stripped naked. He said to those people, he said, "You can take away everything from a man, but you cannot take away one thing, that is his attitude in any given set of circumstances." So that for me is the driving force in any kind of turbulent time, that what can my attitude be? If that man in those circumstances was able to give a meaning to his life. In fact, most of you would have heard of his book, Man's Search for Meaning. Yes. He gave a meaning to his life. He said, "I am going to help people survive. So I'm going to help them get a purpose in their lives." And so then he did this whole research. I mentioned this here now Because many times we think, oh my God, look what's happening to me. I'm the only one. Poor me, poor me, poor me. So I say one thing, that the first thing is in our attitude. There are two words, victim and victor. The first four letters are the same, but it's the latter two which will decide how we will go through these turbulent times. So are you choosing to be a victor or are you choosing to be a victim? That is going to decide how we are going to go through this, right? So the first thing is attitude in the coping mechanism. I want to mention here the work of another psychologist, Martin Seligman. He's a propounder of positive psychology, and he gave it actually an acronym, PERMA. The P he said stands for positivity, you know, feelings of happiness and gratitude and inspiration and hope. The E, he said, is engagement. You know, when we are so lost in doing something that we lose track of time. So engage yourself in something. The third thing he said was R, relationships. Purposeful, meaningful relationships give you a joy in life, give you positivity in life. Invest in relationships. M stands for meaning. Is the meaning you are giving your life something bigger than yourself? Or is it just about yourself? We survive best when we have a meaning which is bigger outside of ourselves. And last but not the least, he says, is A is achievement, our feeling of self-fulfillment. If we have these in our attitude, we can cope with anything. Of course, later on, I hope I will be able to give you some concrete tips in your emotional toolkit, and that may help it further. Yes, Anindya.
The follow-up question was on the mind and the body connection.
The mind and body connection. Oh, wonderful. So we already had panelists and participants sharing with us. I want to ask you now that when I asked you to experience a traumatic experience, what did you experience in your body? Where all did you experience and what were the sensations? You had some choking. Oh my God. Okay. Right. What were some of the other responses? I think you'd read out some, Anindya. I think there were some.
So there is tendon, there is suffocation, tiredness, vomiting.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that when the mind and body is connected, it's one integrated whole. And it's very interesting. Our memories and everything, emotions is actually stored in the brains. It's not here. It's actually here. You would have heard of when we get under stress, our body goes into a fight, flight, or freeze mode. Because we have these two glands called amygdala that house all these memories. So while everything is stored here, it also has an impact on our body. The reason is that our memory may fade, but the body never forgets. So right now I may remember my childhood very vividly. I'll remember the fragrances, I'll remember the colors, I'll remember the faces, the names and everything. But maybe at some point my memory cannot remember all that. But the body has a habit of storing all of that. So my reaction in my body will still be the same even if I forget what my psychological experience has been. And again, coming to the point of the body will store it and it will give us those toxins until we are able to release it. So this is the mind-body connection. Now let's reverse the roles. Anindya, do you have some music handy? We can just play. And if you have that, I'm going to request everyone to, whether you want to get up or not, but just make sure you pump that iron. So give us some music if you have, which can, you know, get us all like a workout. And emotion. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let me give it a try.
Okay. Okay, I want everybody clapping.
Yeah, man. So we back in the club. The body's rocking from side to side, side
Okay, I hope everyone. Yeah, man, come on.
I feel like there's something going back to life, back
Very nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to ask now all the participants. Now, I think it was barely 5 or 7 seconds, but this was, you were doing it with your body. But how do you feel in your mind? How do you feel, you know, up here? Charged, change the mood. Okay, relaxed. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely energized.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. So the point I'm trying to make is to show you the mind and body connect. So when we are happy, when we are doing things like we did just now, the body releases these happy hormones like dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin and endorphins when we exercise. So what happens is that automatically the happy hormones, they're all over us. And we can't help but feeling energized and relaxed. Yeah. So same way with the mind, when the mind gets stressed, we release other kinds of hormones like cortisol, and that starts impacting our body. So I hope we've been able to experience the mind-body connect.
That's beautiful, Sonia. That was beautiful. And I would say thanks to my son. This is all his tech stuff. It brings me to another question, and it's, so how do we, you know, let's tie in all this, that, you know, all this, what would constitute a powerful emotional toolkit during this time? How would you like to put it that way?
Right. So I think it's very important. Toolkit is something we always have in our homes, but I think we need to have it handy with us, especially in these times. So I have actually thought of it. Let's do one thing. I have this with me. I don't know if it's visible. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes,
the whole.
it is other way around. Yes, it is other way around, but it is okay.
Oh, this?
Yeah, better.
Is this better?
Yes, please.
Okay, I was told to do it that way, it will show, but anyway, as long as you're able to read it. I want to ask all my participants, all fine?
You're good. Yes.
Good. All my math is good? All good? No. Okay, I'm getting a lot of no's now. Oh my God, suddenly. Oh my God, oh my God. I'm getting very worried. What happened? Okay, thank you all. So this really, my question to you was, all fine? Okay. I'm already getting the answers. People are telling me how bad I am at math. So how many, the total number of questions were 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many were right? Out of 9, 7. Nobody said to me, well done, Sonia, you got 7 right. Everybody is looking at those 2 which I got wrong. This is really the lens we need to change in our first item in our toolkit. That is gratitude. Can we count our blessings? Can we count the number of things that are going right for us? Because that will decide really how powerful our toolkit is going to be. There were 7 things that were fine, but our focus was only on the 2 which we are not getting. So I would first say that the first item in your toolkit is gratitude. Please count your blessings. If you're still breathing, if you still have a roof over your house, if you've got food on your table, if you've got clothes to wear, isn't there enough that's already going right? The second thing I would say is your alone time, I call it. It's the time that you want to just deep dive into yourself. It's one person we've neglected a lot is ourselves. Can we just give ourselves some time, some love, some compassion, do what we want to do? You want to dance, you want to sing. I play Ludo with my cousins. And whatever you want to do, whatever just makes you happy. You want to draw painting, you want to cook, you want to call people, do whatever you want, but spend some time with yourself. The third thing I would say is media time. Please reduce it. There's just such an overdose of us watching the news and all, this is happening, this is the research, and every day something or the other. The third thing is reduce that. Just have some allocated time, okay, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. The fourth thing I would say is, we just experienced it, exercise. Some sort of physical activity is very, very critical. Why do we say that? Because firstly, it keeps you healthy, and we just experienced it keeps us happy as well. The next element I would say is others, right? Is about connecting with others. Yes, physical distancing is there, but can we have at least social connections? Can we reach out to people, maybe people from our childhood, college, our friends, colleagues, old teachers, some relatives we've forgotten? Can we start reaching out? How are they doing? What's happening in their lives? And just being there. What else? I think, very importantly, I would say the next thing is lines, drawing a line. When I say line is healthy boundaries. Now, let me explain. Sometimes, even in the best of times, there are relationships that we have which are already overwhelming, right? Which are overwhelming, which can be even toxic. So this is not the time to try and fix, because everybody's is on the edge. So any slight thing will trigger off into a major blow up. So right now it's important to draw firm but polite and firm lines and reduce that level of engagement in any such thing. So make sure you have healthy boundaries. Empathy for yourself and for others. And one thing that really works is doing something for someone else. You know, the minute you're feeling low or sad or worried, just go out and do something for someone. Make someone's day, even if it's just a smile, and you will see how wonderful you feel. It's very important to focus our energy and our emotions in what we can influence. So to focus on things which boost our energy, which are like energy tonics, do more of those, and don't indulge in things which sap your energy. It's very clear. When we spend that time alone, we are able to figure out what are my energy tonics and what are my energy drainers. So these are a couple of things, and I think once we summarize with our slides, it will become more clear, right? Is there any further question from you, Anindya?
I got this last question, and I was just thinking in terms of when we are all alone by ourselves, we tend to think a lot of, I would put it this way, that we tend to think more negative rather than, thinking what will make us happy. So I would say the question that I really want to ask is that we are all looking for happiness, right? I think that's the clear mantra here. And where and how can we find happiness with all this turbulent time? Where is that one source we can look for?
I think excellent question. So when the lockdown happened initially in March, I was in the mountains. I didn't expect it, but I was there. And we have a home in the apple orchards near Shimla, and I was there. And typically, anybody who's been in the mountains, there's always these fog, a dense fog that comes in. It's beautiful to look at. And if you open the windows, it'll you know, come inside your house. What is very interesting about a fog is if you try to catch it, the particles just dissipate. So what looks like a nice big cotton kind of a jumble actually just disintegrates. So happiness is something like that. The more you chase it, the more it's going to just go all over the place. So happiness is not out there. I say happiness is in here. And it's happiness already resides within us. So the minute we are able to focus ourselves, we can do a couple of things again for happiness is again gratitude. So I have with me, like I have this little diary notes to myself. And at the beginning of the day, I write down 2 things I'm grateful for. Now, it need not be anything huge, but even if I'm getting up and I'm feeling fine and my limbs are working, that's great. And at the end of the day, I write 2 things that I'm grateful for. So if we do this, we already wake up in a happy state, right? The second thing we can do to become happy is, you know, just distance yourself. Like Anindya, you say, no, we get bogged down with the negative feelings. For a moment, just distance yourself from it. If possible, try to get an aerial view of your emotions. And you will realize that there are so many people who are not even able to swim, and they are also caught in the storm. And you will stop personalizing that hardship, right? So this is what I feel, happiness resides within us, and in an attitude of gratitude, we can definitely address all this and we can shift. The other thing what we need to focus is our thoughts. Now this is a very important, I want you all to try it. For instance, right now, how can thoughts influence our emotions and our actions? Now thoughts, I had put up this post a few days ago on LinkedIn. Thoughts are like, they just enter without knocking, all kinds of thoughts. But it is in our hands which thoughts we want to allow entry to, which ones we can say, sorry, no entry. Some of them need to be trained, some of them need to be tamed. So once I invite the thought carefully, mindfully, automatically the emotion will be different. So if I say, no, I'm feeling grateful today, I have this, this, this. So what is happening is that negativity is anyway going. What will be the emotion? The emotion will be joy. The emotion will be fulfillment. And what will my action be? My action will be, I'll start doing things which make me happy and others happy. So take, for instance, right now, people are losing a lot of their jobs, right? Is that a reality, Anindya?
Of course, huge reality.
Of course.
Small businesses are unable to open, you know, and they know that it's going to be a difficult time. Whether they will be able to reopen their businesses, they don't know. So that's another situation that is there. There's an entire sense of uncertainty, the agony that is associated with it, the frustration that is associated with it, the pain that is associated with it. Over the period of time they've invested their time, money, their effort, their blood, and somewhere, to get a grip around this, to uplift themselves.
Yes.
It's the same situation.
Right. So, whereas there is no such magic formula that you wave a magic wand and all these worries are going to go away, the first thing to realize is that I never label actually feelings as positive or negative, because for me, this entire color box is important. Even the anger is important, even the sadness, even the grief, all emotions. There are 3 things we need to be doing. We all know the AAA batteries, right? We use AAA batteries. So right. The first A is to become aware, is about becoming aware of the emotions. So it's like, if I'm feeling angry or if I'm feeling sad, I need to become aware I am feeling that. The second A is accept it and acknowledge it. I accept you. It's grief, I accept you. It's sadness, it's fear, it's uncertainty, I accept you. I accept you with open arms. And the third is the action. Now, how am I going to act upon it? This is the AAA formula, and it works because we need to label the feelings as they are. And in there, very often we mask our feelings, we hide our feelings, right? For whatever reasons, we all do that. We are in denial, but we need to name it as it is. I remember when I lost my mother. She was only 46 years old, and I was quite grown up, I must say. But there was a part of me which never got to grieve, which never got to express my true emotions. And I battled with it for a very long time. Till I was able to put that finger. And I say, yes, I'm feeling, I felt grief, but I also felt resentment. I'm being honest here that I used to resent people who had mothers who were older than my mother. And when I became aware and I addressed it and I acknowledged it, I felt a sort of lightness. And, you know, that whole thing disappeared. I actually started writing a book dedicated to her. It's got a lot of things which I dedicated to her. Ironically, this is the book she had given. It's a diary. It's got pages, and I started writing in it. A couple of pages only I wrote. It's here. But this she gave me when I got married as a gift, and I didn't realize that I was going to write about her. The point I'm trying to make is name the fear as it is. Become aware of it, acknowledge it. Don't hide it. Don't say, no, I'm not resentful. I'm not jealous. I was jealous. So I need to say it. I need to accept it. The other thing I want to tell you is the thoughts, emotions, and actions. Change your thoughts and you will change your emotions. Because whatever you resist will persist. Okay, I want all of you for like 30 seconds, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay, I'll also close mine. I want you to think of anything at all in the universe except a yellow butterfly with purple polka dots. Anything else except a yellow butterfly with purple polka dots. What did we experience here?
Except the butterfly with polka dots, I don't think you gave us any moment to think about anything else. That was the only one I was like, how does that look like?
So you know, as we hear this term, whatever you resist persists. So don't resist any emotions. Just allow them. Just embrace them. They are somewhere lying discarded, neglected for whatever reasons. Maybe we could not address them in the past, but now is the time to unpack that suitcase. We've been carrying that suitcase, that excess baggage on our shoulders. So what I'm going to say is don't resist. Once you are able to train that, then you can navigate your emotions accordingly. You can say, okay, I'm feeling angry, but I can navigate that anger in a constructive way. Use whatever works for you. Go for a walk, go for a run, use a punching bag, meditate, do pranayam, whatever works for you. But do not resist any emotion. And accordingly, then your action will become positive. Does that and your question was on happiness, and all this is connected with happiness because it's our thoughts. Our thoughts are like this wild kite which is going all over the place. But we do have the string in our hands with which we can navigate. So you choose. Happiness is a choice. We can always be happy. If Viktor Frankl could be happy in those circumstances, I think we have no reason to not be happy and grateful. Yes, Anindya. So I think it's already 12.
Yes.
I'm okay. I'm going fine. I do want to, should we just quickly do the slides and or should we just go to the question and answers?
I would say that if you want, it's your choice. We can have quickly go to the slide and then take couple of questions. We'll extend it by 10-15 minutes if it's okay with everyone. And just quickly go through the slides. I think.
Yeah, I'll keep. So you put on the first one, and I'll tell you when to move on to the next one.
Yes.
Yes. Is it okay if we go? Are the panelists okay with if we cross 5-10 minutes over? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Everybody's saying okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So Sonia, I'll just take you to. You can see the slide, right, Sonia?
Not really.
The participants can quickly confirm that they can see.
No, okay, it doesn't. As long as the participants can see, it's fine.
It's okay. So what I'll do, Sonia, just I'll bring up to your slide. I had a couple of slides before that, so I got all the thumbs up from the participants. Great.
No, it's I'll manage without the slides. Okay, so let's see if I can. You know, the good thing is that I have managed throughout without technology. So even in the most turbulent times, I don't get flustered. Okay, so
I took an emotion, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So if we all recollect, is we spoke of how we see the anger and the hostility in people. But deep inside them or behind the screen is hurt, shame, grief, inadequacy, loneliness, vulnerability. We fail to see what lies beneath. So here is an opportunity for us. I'm going to pause a little on this slide and say, particularly in reference to this COVID situation we are in, this is the time to really understand our own emotions. That why do I get angry? Why do I get triggered? What is it that, so we need to get to that root. And that is why that alone time becomes very critical. While we are doing that, it's equally important to understand the emotions of others around us, right? We are not living in isolation. We are living with our family members, our relatives, our friends, our colleagues. So to be able to understand their emotions as well. So if you see someone who is very paranoid or, or so edgy all the time, try and find out what is the reason for it. Maybe there's a past experience, maybe they are still grieving, maybe they are hurting, maybe there is some sort of loneliness that they are facing, and the only way they can express it is by paranoia or anger. Some people may withdraw, go into a shell. It's time for us to also realize that each one of us is facing COVID in a different way. We all aren't adapting to it the same way. So to recognize, to appreciate, to empathize and have compassion, because everyone's dealing with it in a different way. Yes. Next, please.
Emotions is equal to energy plus motion.
Yeah.
Talked about.
I'm able to see now. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Emotion, as we said, is a combination of two words, energy plus motion. And obviously, when we do not address all our emotions, when we don't process it, they get stuck in our bodies. And that is why we get dis plus ease. Beautifully said by Rumi that the cure for the pain is in the pain. So instead of throwing it aside, face the fear, befriend the fear. It's not an enemy. It's not our enemy. It's our friend. So dive into it, experience it, and you will come out of it. But don't let it house in your body. You need to release it, because who wants toxicity in their mind or body? Next, please. Yeah, so this we already discussed, and you can add a lot of them to it. So this is fine. Next, please. This also, you can keep on adding to the list. These are a couple of things which I have experienced with a lot of my people that I'm interacting with. Yeah. Of course, this session is incomplete without mentioning Viktor Frankl, and he says that there'll always be a stimulus, something. If we have a pandemic, tomorrow there'll be something else, and there'll be something else, and then there is a response. But in between the two, there is a space, and that is our power and our choice and our freedom to think. S plus T is equal to R. The T is your time to think. That is why thoughts are very important. You think the right thoughts, the thoughts will decide your emotions, and the emotions will navigate your actions. So this is Viktor Frankl. Remember, this S plus T is equal to R. The T is your power to choose your response. Thank you. Next slide, please. Very important. Think of things when you are sitting by yourself. What are the activities that give a boost to your energy? Now, I'm sure there may be maybe 20 activities, but there are some which are beyond your control. I love going traveling and going on holidays. Well, that's beyond my control. Right now, I cannot do that, right? My husband is sitting in a very nice place in the Himalayas, and I really want to go there. But right now, with the quarantine rules, it's beyond my control. So I need to focus on what is within my control and do those things which boost my energy. I can sing and I can dance and I can run and I can connect with my friends and family virtually, and that's fine. Next, please. Again, to be very mindful of what are the things that drain your energy. So obviously, you should be doing less of those. It could be physical. Nowadays, a lot of people have let go of their staff and they have to do a lot of housework. So it may be draining your energy. So some things are beyond your control. If you have to cook for your children, you have to cook for your children. But then there are certain things which are within your control. Okay, I don't want to dust my room today. That's fine. I don't need to do that. So to realize what are my energy tonics and what are my energy sappers, make a list of these. And you will find it very easy then to do the right things. Next, please. Yeah. Finally, we come to this. So I actually gave it an acronym. I call it the game of love. All of us today need love. We need this dose and overdose of love actually for ourselves and for others. So what I decided to do was let us all play the game of love. Whether we are playing any other sport or not, let's play the game of love. And this, of course, needs gratitude. The first thing I showed you, write down something. Spend some time alone doing whatever makes you happy. Media time, obviously reduce it. Exercise or any other physical activity. You like to put on the kind of music Anindya put on and dance, do that. Just get the right hormones, just get those endorphins working. Others are very important. It's not just about us. So connect with people. Genuinely connect, sincerely, not with some motives, but just to find out how they're doing. S, of course, is fix the routine. Yeah, we had a routine pre-COVID, but what stops us from having a timetable now? Kind of some regularity of things, the time you get up, the time you need to exercise, the time you have your meals, the time you socialize, the time you want to play Ludo, which is very important for me. So fix the routine, right? Yes, F should be fun. Make that as many Fs, yeah, do that. Have fun, have frolic, right? L is line, healthy boundaries. Again, I spoke about drawing those healthy boundaries, that this is the time when I need for myself. This is the time I can invest with you. And do it in a polite and assertive way, and it works. It's very important to communicate. Anindya, you spoke of communication, so I'm saying communicate that these are times when I'm feeling this way, hence I cannot had the same level of engagement with you during these times as I had earlier. That's fine. The next O is offer help. Please reach out. There is so much we can do. And I have so many people in this group itself who are doing a lot. One person who's attending this is Mr. Vijay Jatia. And I cannot tell you, from medical health to food to just about providing education, how much he has contributed to humanity during these times. So Vijay, if you're there, I salute you. There's so many like him who are doing a lot of things in their own ways. And it's not just about money. A lot of my family, they are all contributing. My sisters are here. Divya Angel Basin, she has been doing the food distribution and culturally, through music, helping boost people's morale. Then let's go on to, I would like to mention so many people, but just the paucity of time. There is another sister of mine, Shalini Lamba. She is doing logotherapy, which is wonderful. Viktor Frankl's logotherapy, to help people deal with their emotions. The next is vent. Express your emotions. Again, it's very important. Vent it, write it down. Say, I'm feeling this way. Name it as it is. Please release that from your body. Please release it from your system. And last but not the least is empathy for yourself and for others. So before I ask you to put on the last two slides, I want to mention two people. I want to mention two people who I truly believe, since you mentioned the happiness, Anindya, that there is one person that I know who actually fought death and came back, punched death in the face and said, I've got unfinished business, I'm going right back. Who jumped out of coma because she wanted to be the happiness ambassador for the world. And that I'm happy and proud to be related to. She is my sister, Shilpa Basin Mehra. And if you can put up this picture, am I visible to everyone?
You are visible from that point, Sunny.
Okay, so this is a book called All Battles Are Not Legal, because this is her, being a lawyer, this was her battle with death, not in the courtroom. So I want to tell people that if there's anybody who's faced the maximum turbulence, it is her. And despite that turbulence, the kind of emotional equilibrium that she has is a lesson for all of us. She has these happiness chats regularly. I would urge all of you to join in. And the second person I want to mention, so strangely, he hired me to coach him, but I am not so sure who coached who, because I think I found my life coach in that gentleman, who, despite the biggest personal loss, he lost his very young son. He made it his life's mission to fulfill his son's dreams. He said to me, Sonia, why is it that only children have to fulfill the legacy of their parents? Why can't parents fulfill the legacy of their children?
Wow.
And I have never met a more emotionally balanced person in my life. And these days, he has made it his crusade to motivate and inspire people all over the world. I want you to know, and I'm very proud to say, that he made it to the Guinness Book of World Records. His company is Siarams. He is the chairman of Siarams Silk Mills. His name is Sri Ramesh Podar, and I take his name with a lot of humility. I have his permission to do that. He had the highest number of attendees in a retail management web live stream on YouTube. 55,000 people attended. So he is a Guinness Book of World Record holder, his company Siaram. So when I think of emotional balance, these are the two people who reign supreme in my eyes. So I just want to acknowledge them. And to both these people, I dedicate the next slide. Anindya, please. Yes, these are two people who epitomize this. Don't let breakdowns break you. Remember, that's how breakthroughs happen. So with that, I think we just, this is my slide that can go. Thank you. With that, we conclude the presentation, and if everyone's okay, I'm happy to take any questions for the next. How much time do we have, Anindya? I know we've crossed that.
Yeah, we can take a couple of questions if there anybody.
Okay, I'll let Anindya decide.
Yeah. Yes, I did have noticed a couple of questions. So I'll just see if I can.
Sure. So we can remove the slide now. Or we can do away with the slides now.
Sure. I just want to keep one slide in just for people just to quickly. 1 second. This is the slide. I want to just keep it for a moment. If people want to,
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I have. Is there any question coming out? How do we focus? So there is Deepak who is talking about how do we focus.
How do we focus? That's it?
Yeah, that's the question, yes.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Deepak, for the question. As I mentioned, there are a couple of things we need to do. We need to be very clear what are our energy tonics and what are our energy sappers. We need to ask ourselves this question that am I spending more time in the energy sappers or am I spending more time in the energy tonics? So you may realize, Deepak, and I want you to try this out, perhaps there is some sort of a disconnect there. Maybe we are spending too much time in the other place. If we are spending time with energy tonics and we are actually navigating our thoughts, we are being able to regulate our thoughts powerfully, we will be able to concentrate. It's not going to happen overnight because there's media and there's our phone and there's so many other distractions plus this. But if you can regulate yourself and say, okay, it's not going to happen now, but I will try. Let me reduce these distractions. Then perhaps you can concentrate. Again, attitude of gratitude is very important. If you go with the mindset that I'm grateful, work with your strengths. You remember that? Where is that math thing? Again, work with these. Say, I have so much going. So why I will be able to focus. Two things are not going. Tell yourself, self-talk. Give yourself a pep talk. It works for me. It really empowers me, right? Thank you, Deepak.
So I got an excellent question here. How is balance EQ with IQ? How to balance EQ with IQ?
Okay. So whereas I had thought I'm not going to get into this intellectualizing it, but I will respond to it very briefly because this is in reference to COVID. You know, the way I understand it is EQ and IQ actually complement each other. I mean, we can get into this whole debate. Yes, EQ is very important. EQ, as per research, actually counts for 90% of your success. But without getting into those researches, I feel that all our life, our education system, we have focused on building IQ. Now, let me ask you, I mean, I don't know how much of these algebra, trigonometry, or things like this ever helped me in my life. But I was told that this is what I need to do, right? So we spend so much time in building IQ. How many classrooms or how many sessions did we ever have during our growing up years in school or college, which told us how to handle emotions? Were there any classes? No. So that is why now we are coming up with this, we are learning emotional intelligence and EQ, and we find ourselves in imbalance. The thing is to take them as they complement and supplement each other. The things I've told you are all the parameters which Daniel Goleman talks about in emotional intelligence. Your self-awareness, your self-regulation, your motivation, your social skills. How do you communicate? How do you interact with others? And of course, empathy. These are the things we've covered today, right? Thank you.
Right. So there is another question wherein it says how to motivate college pass out in these turbulent times and keeping them focused. especially people who are passing out.
Right. So these are tough times for all, whether it's pass out, whether people with jobs. I'm not so sure whether the college pass outs are luckier than the ones who are breadwinners. Right? So I'm not so sure, but I'm not getting into that. I feel this emotional toolkit, right, and feel free to modify it, edit it, is a tool that is for every one of us, whether we are in college, whether we are homemakers, whether we are breadwinners. I think it applies to all. Okay, I'm trying to click. Yeah. So I think this toolkit should help. What do you say?
Absolutely. I think somebody also requested for the excerpt.
Yes.
Yeah, it's for everyone. I think it's very important. You talked about, positivity, engagement, gratitude, and empathy. And these are all very important emotions one need to get a grip around, and I think very useful. Let me just quickly see if there's any other question. We'll try to close the session here, though I see full attendance still up till now. So anybody has any questions? Yeah, so how can you cut off emotions beyond the limit and it comes? You can see the chat. If you want to pick up anything, please feel free. There is a lot of.
We can remove the slide now. This emotional toolkit.
I'm sure I'll do that.
Okay.
You would be able to see the questions. So last one or two questions and we close the session.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
You pick up some questions. Yeah.
So I said, how do we connect to our elder people from family, and how do we connect to our elder people from family when we are thousands of kilometers away from other countries? So the long distance, how do you share that? Yes.
Like I said, there is a circle of influence and there's a circle of concern. These are certain things which are beyond us. But I think the regularity of interaction and the quality of interaction can definitely be there. Like, even if you are face to face, if we can have quality conversations. So connect with your elders, but ask them things about themselves. It has to be about them. What are you doing? The other thing which I notice is very important, and I like this question actually, is very often what happens is, when an elder person says, I'm feeling scared, or I'm feeling hurt, or I am feeling sad, our first reaction is, but why should you feel scared? Why should you feel hurt? We need to realize that we don't get to decide how the other person is feeling. The elders at this time, yes, they are more fragile. So if someone's telling you that and you are a long distance away, I think the question to ask is, tell me more. Why are you feeling this way? Have a conversation. Let them vent it out. Please do not decide for people, and not just for elders, in any relationship. Even, whether it's husband, wife, whether it's children, parents, if someone's feeling that, remember the AAA batteries, guys, aware. Just become aware. Become aware they are scared. Don't give them your gyan. Don't tell them you should or should not. That's one thing. I think that can really help in long distance relationship. Make the conversation about them, not about you. Does that help?
Certainly, yes. I think it's all. I think it's a very important message you are. I think it's not only long distance. I think it should be in any of our conversations with anybody you want to relate with. I think to talk more about them. I think that it goes a long way. That emotional.
Yeah, and I noticed that with children also. Many times parents. I'm also a parent now. Not now. I've been a parent for 32 years. But very often, if the children are coming to you and they're expressing something, or maybe we want to save them the hurt or pain or fear, so we mask it and say, no, you shouldn't feel this way. The thing is, we have to acknowledge first what they are feeling, right?
There was a question in terms of, is there a difference between emotions and feelings?
Okay, okay. Emotions. Okay. So emotions and feelings, I would say, okay, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, as long as you can see me, it's okay.
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So emotions and feelings are the same. There's a difference between emotions and moods. You know, many people say I'm in a bad mood or good mood. Emotions and moods are different. Emotions and feelings are the same. For instance, in a mood, yes, a mood is a predisposed state of mind, right? I can just wake up in a bad mood, right? Or you can wake up in a good mood. But an emotion or feeling is connected with some event, right? A mood can be there before the event, during the event, and after the event. Does that make sense?
It does.
So,
it does.
Yeah. So a mood can be there for a longer duration, pre the event, during the event, and after the event. But to answer this question, emotions and feelings are the same.
And do you agree that the habit of living in the present moment and present moment and contentment will help?
Beautiful question. Again, brings me to two things. That you know, we confuse happiness with this smiley emoticon that we wear on our face, right? It's like, oh, I'm happy and I'm supposed to be this and this and that. Happiness is actually, like I said, like that dense fog. We never really catch it. Happiness is more like a contentment. You know, I can be my most content and happy self when I am involved in a project and I just forget that it's 2 a.m. in the morning. That's contentment. When I'm doing something for someone, I recently had a lot of youngsters calling me and who are looking for a change, and their mothers called me and said, just speak to them. The way you speak will make all the difference. So find things to do for people, and that's contentment. That's the way to go about this. So what was the specific thing that he wanted to know? Is this the right way?
Yeah, the contentment help or not? That was question.
Yes, in fact, only contentment will help. Let us not confuse. Yes, only contentment will help. Contentment is a grounded feeling. It's not a euphoria. It's not ecstasy. People confuse happiness with ecstasy. Whoa, like that. No, it's not like that. Happiness is here. It stays. It's stable. So it's fulfillment. It's gratitude. It's contentment. Thank you. Lovely question. Yeah.
With that, I think we'll club. It's already 12:25. We have, we have 25 minutes over, and Sonia, there are still questions coming in. Probably we need to have a stop sometime or the other. People could, write to us at asqindia@asq.org. I'll be more than happy to pass it on to. I've just put it up. I'm just putting it in the chat. So asqindia@asq.org. You can always, send us your questions. I'll have Sonia respond to it. And Sonia, I can't thank you enough. I think this has been a very emotional.
Thank you so much.
Topic close to my heart. And I couldn't find anybody else who, we are in the field of education, we are in the field of quality, we are in the field of where we talk about quality in everything that we do. And more important thing I want to touch upon is the quality of life. And I think that's where the entire turbulence is in today's day. Work and all these things are one element, but we're just confined to this particular 4 rooms. It just take a toll, the emotional toll and the experience that one goes through. I think that's where I wanted to connect, and that's where I think as much as we talk about process, as much as we talk about various kind of improvement and all those things, I think it's important to talk about the quality of life. And Sonia, I can't thank you enough. It's been a wonderful, and just seeing all the accolades that's coming our way, all you deserve it. So thank you so much once again. It has been a very enriching session, and good that we had it as an interactive session rather than just a PowerPoint, which would have been. So,
and despite the turbulence,
technology turbulence.
Well, actually, I feel that it was meant to be. because it makes it so real. I have to keep clicking on it to get the screen up. But you know, it's a test. Am I balanced enough? So it was a good test for me.
And thanks so much for keeping. Likewise.
Thank you so much for everyone. I just have one thing to say, that whatever other game you play or not, remember the toolkit. We are all capable of playing the game of love. So do play that, and I'm sure you'll not only survive, but you will thrive and flourish, and perhaps come out of this as a better version of yourself. With those best wishes, a very big thank you to all of you. Truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you, everyone. This video would be available in next 2 to 3 days on our YouTube channel, ASQ South Asia, and also that please remember to block your last Sunday of every month. We have another exciting one coming up next month as well. We have an international guest, so we look forward to having you all. And thank you so much once again, Sonia, and all the attendees. Thank you so much.
Anindya, I cannot thank you enough, and you really proved that we have been friends for a very long time, and I appreciate the fact that you reached out to me. You're doing a fabulous job, I must say. You're really serving the people with all your master classes, and I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much, Sonia. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Enjoy Sunday. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.